Hey guys, welcome to part 4 of our lighting tutorial of the USS Defiant. As you see here, we have the ship all assembled. All the clamps are off. However, right now is not the optimal time to start painting it. As you can see with the seams, there are a lot of light leaks. In fact, I'll turn off my lights here so you can get a better view. You can see all the seams here. Those all need to be puttied in as I short my wires. Everything here needs to be puttied in. If you just try to paint it with the seams looking like this, it's just going to be exposed light. Some of this may still need to be glued, so don't be afraid to run another pass in it. Just again, remember the seam here with the fiber optics. Don't apply too much cement, you're going to lose those. So far so good, I haven't. I went ahead and also installed the last remaining phaser cannons. So now, as you can see, they can they're all glowing. You can also see here some light coming through here, so that's going to have to be covered up with black paints once we're done. I also have these areas covered up with Elmer's glue here, masked off. So all the pre-work is done. Basically, you just need to go over with putty. Let me turn my lights back on. Generally, I like to use thin putty like this Vallejo plastic putty here. Also, regular contour putty works. I just like using the thinner stuff because it's I can dip a sponge in it and I can work it around. I can get into smaller areas. The contour putty basically is more for filling in seams so you can sort of sand it off later and make it look smooth. While I know this is not really a line that exists here, just for probably simplicity's sake, I'll just get it as binding together as possible. I probably won't bother with puttying this here, but it's an option if you want to go for it. I kind of just see it as another panel line. And it's mostly going to get covered up by a decal anyway, so for me it's not an issue, but dealer's choice. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go over the whole model with the lights partially off. I'll probably just keep this light off and leave my ceiling fan light on. This is still a good amount of light. If you need less, just turn off all your lights, but you need to be able to see all of the seams and then go over it and just make sure they're filled. If there's still light poking through it, you probably need a little bit more. Just make sure you clean up afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll be right back. Seams all filled in. Most of the light leaks are taken care of. The ones that are shining through intensely are the ones that are the LED is just right up against the plastic, so I'm just gonna have to cover that with black paint. But for the most part, this is all ready to go downstairs. I believe a couple of the glue masks that I had here came off as I was wiping the putty away, so I'm going to go ahead and reapply that just to make sure, and I will see you all downstairs. Alright, now while our model is still hooked up to power, I have my garage lights off, but I still have my overhead light on. I'm going to dim that. Basically what we need is to have a low light environment, so where we spray our black paint, we can see where all the light leaks are currently. As you can see, there's a lot, so we're going to have to attack this. Now make sure you go at this with light layers. The inclination maybe to just attack these, like anything that's a light leak with heavy black paint, don't. You're obviously gonna, build up paint, ruin your paint job or whatever. So just light layers, just keep going over it. All right, so I'm gonna blast this with black paint, and you'll see that here, and then I'll coat it with probably a gray or something, and then I'm gonna attack it with a duck egg blue that I found. Surprisingly, I can't really find duck egg blues anymore. To me, it doesn't even have it. I think there's a couple instructions that have like a mix to do a duck egg blue, but we're just gonna see how that goes, and I'll see you in a little bit. To pause here because I've already put a couple layers of black paint on, but as you can probably see, and this is going to be the benefit of having a camera around, is the fact that you can still see some light leaks coming through here where the attachment point was for this Bizarre, similar over here, and there's a couple of seams here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with my putty real fast just to fill in those seams. A little bit more. Let's go and check this out. I think I got most of it. I think the phaser cannon might need a little more in the back here, but for the most part, it's pretty covered up. Just keep going with the light off. Here, I'll even just turn the light off for a moment. So you can see all the light coming through the mask still. For the most part, it is pretty much all covered up, except for just a few more tiny areas. So at this point, like I said, just use putty, and then you're going to be able to get the rest of it without attacking with a lot of black paint. So I'm going to attack that. All right, after many attacks at this with black paint, I probably did this with about maybe 4, 5, maybe 6 light layers of black paint. We finally have the entire thing coated. I went ahead and removed the mask for the Raytheon effect because I'm going to dull it with the gray paint, because right now when you turn off the light, turn off these lights, it just looks like bare plastic, and right now with the Raytheon effect, the camera may be blowing it out, and I will turn this off. Right now, that's the only thing you can see right now. If I turn the model around, you'll see absolutely no light leaks whatsoever. Those are where the impulse engines are gonna go. And each pinpoint of light you see is either a window or a fiber optic that's has the paint that's exposed. I went ahead and just took my X-Acto knife and I just flicked off the paint underneath for those 2 little lights there. I'll probably have to do it again once I put the coat on, just to make sure that there's still light coming through. But as you can see, there's all the windows there. It's like I got pretty much all the light leaks taken care of. So by now, this point, keeping it on the lights is unnecessary. You can turn it off, and the next step is just putting on the gray coat, the undercoat. Real quick, I wanted to show you, once you get your base coat on and you have really no other detailed paints to do, I'm almost done with mine. I just got a few more areas to touch up here. By this point, you can actually cut off all of your fiber optics. I trimmed a little bit just to get them easier to maneuver the model around, but if you got nothing else to paint, you can just go ahead and start snipping off your fiber optics. I usually do mine so there's still a little bit poking out. You don't want to go so far, like sometimes you'll end up losing the fiber optic if you go a little too deep. If you see that there's Lights are shortened out. If you see one might be a little dimmer than the other, there might be a little bit of paint coverage, so just like flick it off with your knife. I'll go ahead and just take off the rest of these here. So now you see we have everything exposed. And once we get the control chip plugged in, these will go off as strobes. This is just going to stay on as a kind of a place for the spotlight to imitate while the Raytheon effect kind of takes care of the rest. So by this point, I'm going to finish touching up. I'm going to give it a clear coat. Next video, it's probably going to be the last video you'll see. It's going to be the model probably completed, all the decals on, and probably a comparison with the first Defiant model I have. So until then, I'll see you in the next one.